Shalom. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to White Robes family. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I am compelled to present before an awakening nation. To you, O set apart ones, you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, I consider you my brother, my sister, and I am compelled to present these words to you. Again, my name is Symmanayah. The words you see at the bottom of the screen are to encourage you to ask questions of one another. Seek answers. Seek to discern. Answers may come immediately and expeditiously, or they may come in due season. This is the 32nd episode to White Robes family. And before I get started in this subject, let me present the following to you. Before you is a screen that describes warning and disclaimer. It reads as follows. The information contained in the White Robes family represent instructions and warnings to individuals who believe they are drawn by the Almighty Creator Yahuah to Yahusha Mashyach. The content presented centers around end-time realities. Please be advised this site is not intended for children under 16 years of age due to its content. By continuing forward, you agree to hold Symmanayah harmless of any influence in or actions that arise as a result of watching, listening, and reviewing the content presenting. The views expressed do not reflect the owners, management, and or shareholders of this media platform. Also, be mindful that White Robes family is not affiliated with any other ministries with similar names. With that said, come, let's get started, my brothers and sisters. This segment, Nations to Nation, made one by Yahusha. I'm compelled to present it in line with the Passover colors. A color that, I'm sorry, not the Passover, the tabernacle colors. And if you've been following me, my brothers and sisters, it is something that I use to remind me of each feast time and a purpose that's in it each feast time that could be used as a vetting tool, as a tool for examination. Purple being the seventh feast. Purple representing tabernacle. Purple representing blue as in the waters and red as in the blood. When you combine the two together, you get purple. Again, this is something that I am compelled to do. It helps me to be on track. It is something that could aid others to discern some contributing factors in the purpose of the feast times. Nations to nations made one by Yahusha. You see, my brothers and sisters, as we become aware and more aware of this tabernacle, our body, the person in the mirror, and the tabernacle of Yahuah, when combined, when all the members of set apartness are combined into one house. When we begin to look at that, we will see in these end times, there are many nations of different kindreds and tongues and tribes that will come together as one nation, Yashar'al. Even the 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Yashar'al will emerge and fulfill what was written and what is written. And then they will come together under one banner. Notice, my brothers and sisters, throughout the scriptures, mainly, it has been a story, a message between Abrahym and Goym, meaning those who are the seed of Abraham, and then all other nations, commonly referred to amongst many as Hebrews and Gentiles. My brothers and sisters, in my prayer time, the Almighty Father has said, who amongst you can tell me who landscape all creation the color of a spirit, the color of the spirit of man, set apart, my child's spirit, the spirit that I have quickened? Who can tell me that color? And as I prayed, it was the Almighty Father, the Spirit of Yahusha, my teacher, saying, race and nationality has its place to fulfill various prophecies. But we must not stop there. We must look beyond that. For the many years that we have ahead of us, the vast, innumerous days and years we have in front of us, living forever with Yahusha Mashyach, does not entail having a skin color or nationality. We will be the set apart children of Yahuah. When we see Yahusha as he is, we shall be as he is, as he has written. The spirit of a man, inside this tabernacle is our spirit. We will come before the physical return of Yahusha Mashyach to realize the importance of when it says that there's neither Hebrew nor Greek, Hebrew nor Gentile, Abrahym nor Goym. That's referring to us not stopping and looking beyond the earthen vessels and seeing the spirit. We are one in Yahusha Mashyach. However, it is not ordering us to disregard altogether our nationality, our race. It is not saying that. And I said this before. How can you tell scripture is being fulfilled? How can you say many different nations, kindreds, and tongues if we don't identify with different nations, kindreds, and tongues? How can we say Hebrews and Gentiles if we cannot identify who Hebrews and Gentiles are? Certain scriptures will be fulfilled by us identifying the various and diverse races. The creation that received the breath from the Almighty Father of many nationalities, kindreds, and tongues. Nations to nation, made one by Yahusha. Prepare to witness things come together. Let me move on, my brothers, with the following. It began a promise made. One nation, my brothers and sisters. Consider these words, Genesis 12:2. And I shall make you a great nation, and bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. That was Genesis 12:2. Genesis 18:18, and that was the Almighty Father being quoted, speaking to Abraham. Genesis 18:18, since Abraham is certainly going to become a great and mighty nation, and all nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. You see, my brothers and sisters, there's the talk in the narrative of the browning of America, the browning of various countries, the browning of the world. Abraham was indeed brown, so to speak. Abraham, whom many will say was called a Hebrew. And I submit to you, he's Abrahym. He is the father of Abrahym. We who are his seed are Abrahym. Abraham, a blessing to all the nations on the earth, if not merely by the dominance of the melanated individuals. My brothers and sisters, this is a plan laid out by the Almighty Father, saying be blessed. He didn't condemn all other nations. This is just his plan. This is just the process. We ought to look beyond race and nationality as the ultimate and final end, as well as beginning of life everlasting by the Spirit, the inward man. Exodus 19:5-6 says, and now if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Yashar'al. Here we see Moshe receiving instruction, my brothers and sisters. A set apart nation. Nations to nations, singular. We are made one by Yahusha Mashyach, those who are drawn by the Almighty Father. Wait, there's more. Genesis 22:15-18. Here in this passage you will read where the Almighty Father promised Abraham that his seed will be as the stars of the heavens and as the sand which is on the seashores. It speaks that all Abraham's seed, singular, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed because you have obeyed my voice. Is being quoted here in Genesis 22:18. But read Genesis 22:15-18 and you will see where the seed of Abraham multiplied as the sand of the sea, how we are among the four corners of the earth in many countries. Do not allow the nationalities to cloud what is true. Ultimately, we who are the seed of Abrahym, we who are set apart children of the Almighty Father, will recognize the priority and the importance of how we are made one by Yahusha Mashyach, and how we indeed contribute to the fulfillment of what was written. Continue on. One nation, my brothers and sisters. Yaakov, commonly known as Jacob, received words from his father Yitzhak, commonly known as Isaac. In Genesis 25:26 it reads, "And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years when she bare them." Depending on what translation, you will see Yaakov. You see Esau and Yaakov. And for Isaac, you will see Yitzhak. A prophecy to Yaakov in Genesis 27, 28, and 29. "And the Almighty One give of you the dew of heavens, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's son bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you." And it came to be, as soon as Yitzhak, commonly known as Isaac, had finished blessing Yaakov, commonly known as Jacob, had hardly left the presence of Yitzhak his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. I want just to bring to mind, my brothers and sisters, where he talks about let people serve you and nations bow down. Many people stop and think it's just talking about race and nationality of Hebrews or Abraham. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, to serve and bow down is as the Spirit of Yahuah works in us one towards another, bowing down before Yahuah as he leads and guides us, yielding to Yahuah's plans and orders and instructions. So many people want to raise that up and say, "Oh, it's a nationality. They're going to serve us. They're going to bow down before us." My brothers and sisters, he goes on to clarify it by saying you will be as priests. Are not our vessels temples of the voice and spirit of Yahuah? I say to you, my brothers and sisters, as priests, it is because he who is the ultimate priest works in us, through us. It is referring to those who are indeed among the obedience. My brothers and sisters, it is important for us to look beyond the literal. The literal is there, but it leads us to the spiritual, to those who seek to discern what is indeed true. Pray, my brothers and sisters, and seek to discern. For as we begin to understand the completeness, the wholesomeness in the plan of the Almighty Father Yahuah, it will make a big difference. My brothers and sisters, if you read Revelation 7, chapter 1 through 8, it speaks of the 12 tribes. Each of the 12 tribes I present to you is mentioned in Revelation 7, chapter verse 1 through 8. And I ask you, my brothers and sisters, though man have moved to the different countries, the geographic location, though man have bred all these different nationalities, we will see that the Almighty Father have instructed us to be mindful of those who are Abrahym, commonly known as Hebrews, and those who are Goym, also known as Gentiles, meaning other nations. For who can count the number of different nationalities currently on the planet, or the nationalities who have come and gone on this planet? Who is able to realize how much time that consumes? Is not the value of time in the hands of the Almighty Father? Is it not wise to recognize that whom the Almighty Father begun his plan with as his chosen people, everyone else that came outside of that into this body of set apartness are all other nations. But together the nations are made one by Yahusha Mashyach. And you will notice that the 12 tribes in the 7th chapter of Revelation does not represent the 12 tribes in Genesis. For there was one tribe that took on the behaviors and characteristics of those who would worship idols, and that tribe is Dan. Dan is replaced by Manasseh, the grandson of Yaakov. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. End times will reveal that the 144,000 are alive and being prepared to rise up and fulfill what is written. 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes as mentioned in Revelation 7 chapter. But there is more. The great multitude, which is often neglected. If you read Revelation 7, 9, and 10, it reads as follows. After this I looked and saw a great crowd, which no one was able to count, out of all nations and tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, dressed in white robes and palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, saying, deliverance belongs to our Almighty One, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. And if you drop to 13 and 14 in the 7th chapter, you'll see where there was an inquiry as to this great multitude. And one of the elders responded, saying to me, who are these dressed in white robes, and where did they come from? And I said to him, Master, you know. And he said to me, these are those coming out of the great distress, having washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. My brothers and sisters, along with the 144,000 is a great multitude of many nations, kindreds, and tongues, brought together, made one by Yahusha, our Mashyach. I say to you, O Yashar'al, though we face an awakening, though we face challenges that we have never could have imagined would happen during this generation, know this, that great multitude consists of Abrahym and Gentiles, along with the 144,000, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes who will be as first fruits of the awakening when the unity process becomes clear. They will be like the quick responders, the first to step up as the multitude begin to wake up and come together in unity, knowing more than just race and nationality, but recognizing those committed to doing the will of the Almighty Father. Remember, my brothers and sisters, it is stated in 1 Corinthians 12th chapter, how there are many members but one body. Not one member, but many. That we are made into one spirit. Spirit, my brothers and sisters. That's where our ultimate end starts our beginning. For the time will come when these earthen vessels will return back to the earth from which they have come. Remember this, O Yashar'al. End times are here, and they are real. I won't take the time to read the next slide, but I want to bring to your attention Isaiah 11:12 and Isaiah 43, 3 through 7. 1, it speaks, 11:12 speaks of being gathered from the four corners of the earth. And specifically in Isaiah 43, 3 through 7, I want to bring your attention to the 7th verse in the 43rd chapter when he said, whom I have created, formed, even made for my esteem. There are people that would have you think that all of us will be gathered before the physical return of Yahusha Mashyach. That's not true. There are people that would have you think, those who believe there will be a final exodus before the physical return of Yahusha. It won't be every set apart child. And it doesn't mean all those left behind were disobedient. Some left behind were ordered to be behind, to be the final words of set apartness before leaving their earthen vessel. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, it will not be everyone, but it will be a huge number, millions. And then there are those who say, oh, I'll show you now a verse that say remnant, remnant, remnant. There are passages that say remnant. There are passages that say great multitude. The prayer that we must ask the Almighty Father in the name of Yahusha, how can the two agree without contradicting one another? A question in which I have went to the Most High and asked and inquired of, and I believe in times past that he have made known, reaffirmed, and continue to confirm that when you compare the numbers that are gathered, the millions that will be gathered from the four corners of the earth to the total population, you then see your remnant. You can have 10 million, but when you compare it to 7.2 billion plus or minus, It's less than a whole. It's a fraction. It's a remnant, my brothers and sisters. Pray and watch. The final Exodus will come to be. Stay with me, my brothers and sisters, as I continue. Exodus 19:18-20. It says, and Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because of Yahuah descended upon it in fire. And its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And when the voice of the shofar sounded long and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and the Almighty One answered him by voice. And Yahuah came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and Yahuah called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe went up. The set apart mountain, Mount Sinai, I want to bring to your attention. This will be the center point. This will be as the axis to Ezekiel's wheel. This will be the central focal point as Yashar'al is gathered from the four corners of the earth. We will begin at the core of Mount Sinai and spread out like a wheel. We will come together, my brothers and sisters, and await the physical return of Yahusha Mashyach. Recently, and I've mentioned this before, recently, the Saudi Arabia government have relaxed their control over Mount Sinai to the point where they now allow people to get a little closer to it as a tourist attraction. It's still fenced off at the base. It is a mountain commonly known as Jabal al-Lawz. This is the true Mount Sinai. And in due season, my brothers and sisters, it will be released to the children of Yashar'al, the children of Yahuah. It will be released to us. And we will find ourselves gathering. And we will witness instructions from the Almighty Father like never before. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. The symptoms of a release of the mountain to the children of Yahuah has begun. Stay with me, O Yashar'al, as I continue. I invite you to examine Genesis chapters 48 and 49. And you will see where Yaakov blessed his sons. You will see where he blessed his grandsons. And it described the characteristics of each son. And he indeed made a prophecy that I believe when we see the 144,000 come together, we will see these characteristics that are described by Yaakov in Genesis chapter 48 and 49. There will be a great gathering, O Yashar'al. Here I have on the screen Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20 through 23. I want to bring your attention, my brothers and sisters, how it says, in that day it shall be that the remnant of Yashar'al and those who have escaped of the house of Yaakov never again lean upon him who struck him, but shall lean upon Yahuah, the set apart one of Yashar'al, in truth. A remnant shall return, the remnant of Yaakov, to the mighty all. For though your people, O Yashar'al, be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, and a decisive end overflowing with righteousness. For the Master Yahuah of hosts is making a complete end as decided in the midst of all the earth. My brothers and sisters, that remnant, as I said, when you compare that remnant, my brothers and sisters, to those that are of the population of the planet, the number is small, but the actual number will be in the millions. To the drawn of the Almighty Father, the Almighty Yahuah, to Yahusha, we will witness our eyes become more clear. We will witness our ears open up. We will witness that we have a spirit to discern. Our inward man will surprise us, O Yashar'al, as we rise up in maturity, as our spirit is quickened to manage these earthen vessels to accomplish the task that the Almighty Father has given us. Nations to nation, we will come together and be made complete, my brothers and sisters. What say you? There are plans. Plans exist, and I have read these before. There will be relocation and lifestyle changes. There will be those included and those left behind. I submit to you bullets, my brothers and sisters, highlighting a plan that exists. A plan to build a set-apart team of leaders vetted and proven to be chosen by the Almighty Father. To develop an information and resource center that will answer questions, provide information, supplies, and resources as Yashar'al began to gather from the four corners of the earth. A plan to purchase land in the state or Commonwealth of Virginia, where I believe will be the exit point on the Western Hemisphere for those that are gathered from the four corners of the earth. A plan to identify and support safe zones for migration as we move from point to point, moving towards Virginia, getting ready for that exit point to return to the promised land as ordered by the Almighty Father. White Rose family has a plan, my brothers and sisters, that will contribute to other plans. I'm quite sure they will link up and join hands. And then there are the plans that have no connectivity to White Rose family, no connectivity to the set-apart family of Yashar'al. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. This plan will provide guidance and support for completing the journey for those who will make such travels. To provide guidance for the inner court, those who are alive that are indeed among the set-apart family of Yashar'al. There are words, instructions, and warnings that go forth from White Rose family, this series. As I am compelled to present this to you, O Yashar'al, choose wisely a plan to talk about, demonstrate what we are to do as we move further and closer to that transition time. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, things cost. Let us begin to count the costs. I use the term use it or lose it. And I've spoken on this before. I present to you Matthew 25:14-30. Am I speaking something that is a reality or providing fear-mongering? The day will come when many will cry out and say, I once had the skills. I once had the possessions. I once had the finances. I once was in a position to help Yashar'al, and I did not. Now famine and pestilence has brought weakness and disease among me. Some will say, now the economy has collapsed, so what I had in wealth I no longer have. Use what you have now, my brothers and sisters, or risk losing it. Choose wisely. Seek to discern what the Most High Father is saying to you. Your resources, your supplies, your skills, your money. Let us come together and work together as we are directed by the Spirit of the Almighty Father, as He works in us, through us, as He presents to us our chosen leaders. Let us be able to vet them, examine them as well as ourselves, and determine what is the next step. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, I say to you, nations, nations plural to nation made one. There are language barriers. There are eating habits. There are cultural barriers. There are many differences that people have within the scope of the geographic areas they have been raised for generations they have lived. So there's much work to be done on how to communicate the priorities to one another, on what to present to one another, on how to come together in unity, and all that is needed to bring about unity among an awakening set-apart nation. The Most High knows. And I guarantee you, we will see where water, fresh drinking water, food, and shelter will be the starting point of us being able to communicate the priorities that are important for coming together in unity and worship. As we are in these earthen vessels, worship the Almighty Father Yahuah in Yahusha's name. Pray and watch. We will see how pictures and symbols, how gestures will aid in the communicating the cross-language barriers. We will see how the Almighty Father will open our eyes and ears and mind to discern how to communicate to one another as we find ourselves being amongst a very diverse group and set apartness. Nations plural to nations singular, made one by Yahusha Mashyach. Pray, O Yashar'al, study, pray some more, watch, and seek more than anything to discern how we will be brought and fitly joined together. One body, one spirit, with many members. There's much work ahead of us. Stay tuned, O Yashar'al, as White Rose continues. Choose this day which direction you will go. Choose this day what your intent is, my brothers and sisters, and begin to move or be still. Seek to discern. Ask questions, O Yashar'al. Until next time, I salute your patience, your tolerance, your hunger for set apartness. I salute you, O listener, to these words. I salute you, my brother, my sister. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, let no one deceive you by my hand movements and all this. People who have interpreted all these different wicked hand gestures and different things, sometimes a person is not even trying to submit or present a wicked gesture. I say to you, who was on this planet first? Who was the Aleph and the Tau? Did not man come as created by Yahuah? Did he not give us the functions of our hands? Because the wicked one have snatched things, because the wicked one have adopted certain hand gestures. They don't control the movement of the hands. They don't dictate. Pray and seek the spirit of an individual, my brothers and sisters. Do not succumb to those who are talking about the hand movement. Just like the color. I heard one person talk about the color purple is wicked. Who is Aleph Tau? Who was the beginning of colors? It was Yahuah, the Almighty Father. The colors are used to symbolize the feast times, my brothers and sisters. Pray and watch. Again, who was Aleph Tau? The wicked one will race and try to pollute the things that are good and steal the symbols that are presented. The rainbow, symbol of a covenant that the Almighty Father made with his children, not to flood the entire earth. So no matter who uses the rainbow and for what purposes, they are not more powerful than the message it sends of the covenant the Almighty Father made with his children. I say this to you, O Yashar'al. It is time to look forward and press into what is indeed true and set apart. In the name of Yahusha, I come to you, O awakening nation, and I say, Shalum.